Hello there, welcome to my channel. I'm Angela from arteri.com. I've got a little fun fold for you today. It's a sliding pop-up. This is just my first one. I always like to show you my little prototype first. So this is the first one I made. It's not very good, I was just practicing. But when you open it up, the little pop-up inside slides open like that. And I just think that's really cute. It does have a little mechanism on the bottom, obviously. And it's very, very easy to do. I don't do difficult cards. I can't do difficult cards. So I like to make something different, but something that's not going to have me tearing my hair out. There's another one here, just made with a stamp, and I put a little bow on, trying to use some of my ribbon. And again, just open up, and you can decorate the inside. You can leave it blank, you can decorate it how you like. It's entirely up to you. And you can use any rectangular aperture that you like with a die or a punch. And this is the last one that I made. I quite like this one. I think I cut that flower with my cutting machine, and these were left over from a video that I just uploaded. And this time I've got a sentiment on the outside, and again you just open it up and that slides like that. I think it's really cute. Really easy to do, and this one's just completely blank inside. So I had to stop the camera there. I did this card completely and utterly wrong, quite a few places actually. So I'm going to try it again this time. The first thing I did wrong was I put glue all over this pattern part. You're just supposed to put it around the edge. And this should have been the same blue as the card. I mean, it doesn't have to be. You could do it like that if you wanted. But it's not what I wanted to do. I just think it looks better the other way. So I'm going to start this one again. So you can do these any size you like, but I'm starting with a card base of 5.5 by 4.25. I have some pattern paper, which is 1/4 of an inch smaller. It's not cut the right direction because I ran out, so it's going to have to go that way. That's 5.25 by 4, and a piece for the inside, which is also 5.25 by 4. These are the parts for the mechanisms. This is 3 by 2. This is 2.5 by, 1.25. These may differ depending on the size of the card that you're going to use. It all depends. I'll show you that in a bit anyway. I'm going to use these. I can get them out. I'm going to use the two largest ones. Well, first of all, put everything else to one side. I'm going to stick, make sure you get this the right way. I've done that many a time, put it on the wrong way. Where is it? There we go. So I'm going to stick this on the front, but I'm just going to put glue around the edges, and you'll see why in a minute. I was going to use my tape runner, but I'm going to use glue just so I have that wiggle room. I should have used thicker paper for that really. It's quite thin. While we're on with the gluing bit, I'm going to glue this part to the inside. That's for people to write on. And put the glue all over this one. Right. I'm just going to let that dry a little bit. This is a bit of an experiment because I've been using some cheap craft glue in here that I've had for a long time, a couple of years, and I've never used it because it used to buckle the paper when I put too much on, and you could really see the glue under it. So what I've done is I've put it in a fine tip applicator, and we'll see how we go. It looks okay so far, but it does take a while to dry, so I'm going to put that to one side. Now these are the two pieces for the mechanism. So this one here, this is the 3 by 2, and it needs scoring on the long side. Where's my paper? At 3/4 of an inch, 1.5 inches, and 2.25 inches. So that means that it's equally spaced, the score lines. So I'm just going to fold those score lines all the same way. Right, this should be dry now. So now what we need to do, we're going to put this as central as we can get it. I mean, you can use a T-ruler, you can measure it from the sides and the top and bottom if you like. I'm just going to try and eyeball it, so anything could happen. So I want this part sort of hanging off the edge of the machine, of the plates. So hopefully this is cut all the way through. It should have, because it's only thin card. Yes, it has. If you're using thicker cardstock, you might want to put it through 3 or 4 times just to make sure that it cuts right through, because you're cutting through 2 pieces of card. Right, so take this off carefully. So that's a nice piece that you can use for another project if you want. So this is the piece that we're going to use to fit in there. Oh, there's something else that I've forgotten as well. So that's going to go in there, and I'm going to put another piece on top of there for the stamping to go on. But this is why you needed to put the glue just on the outside of this pattern paper, because we needed to be able to cut out this piece from the bottom there. But for some reason this has got glue on there. I think the plates of my cutting machine must need cleaning, but this I can't do without this. It's saved so many projects. It's just a glue eraser. You can get it from Amazon, you can get it from Temu, you can get it from all over the place. Loads of places sell it. Right, so I hope I hope this little bit fits on there. Yes, it does. Try and keep it away from that cut. That should be okay. Stick that down. And I'm just going to put this through my little craft puddle. So the one thing I learned from the mistake I made on that other card is to make sure that if you've got any stamping to do it on, in fact, I should have stamped on here before I stuck it down. If you're going to stamp on this piece of the card, this fitted piece, do it before you stick it down, just in case you make a mistake. So the last time I stamped here and I put flowers and things on, and it looked awful. It just looked so awful. So if I'm going to do some stamping, because that is going to go on there like that, that's going to be fitted in with this on the top like that. And I did start putting flowers and things on, and honestly it did not look right at all, so I just ended up stamping on it. So I'm going to get out a stamp, I'm going to do a bit of stamping on here, and then I'll be back. Right, so I've done a little bit of stamping and it's gone okay, apart from the flowers upside down, but that's par for the course when I do stuff. So I'm going to stick that on there. That's about central, I think. It looks okay. And that glue seems to be working well for the time being. Quite pleased with that. All that money I've spent on expensive glue, and I had that cheap stuff in there the whole time that I could have been using. So I think that looks really nice. Yes, I might put a few like bit of decorations or something on them. Right, now you can stamp in here if you want. I think on the last one, this one, because I made a mistake inside, I actually put a little strip across the bottom, which I think looks quite nice. I'm not going to do that on this one, I'm just going to leave it blank. So you can take, this is the first part of your mechanism, and it's going to go just before that score line and hopefully central to the aperture there. So I am going to use tape for this. Oh, hang on, what's happened there? You need to stamp, sorry, you need to put tape or glue or tape runner, double-sided tape, just on the two outside edges. Excuse me. It's the first time I've used this glue. I don't know what it's going to be like. This is from Craftelier. Right, so first of all, turn it over so the glue part is there, and you need, like I say, you need to put it just before the score mark, as straight as you can, and hopefully in the center of that. And then you turn that over in half. Oh, it needs a crease there. And then what you do is just bring that card over like that, and there's the first part of your mechanism. You can see that, just like a little square box. Right, now this part, it depends on how big your aperture cutout is. That is probably a bit too big, so I'm going to cut just a tiny bit off the end. Doesn't have to be perfect. And that is going to be stuck onto there, like that. Sort of in the middle if you can, just away from the edge. So I'm going to use glue. The glue just needs putting on the edge of the mechanism. Not quite to the edge. And then put on there like that. Make sure it's fairly central and straight. Push it down. Just make sure it's as straight as you can. And then what we're going to do is put glue down here. And put that on there like that. Make sure it fits in properly. Press that down. And then you can open it up and it slides open like that. And there we go. That's how easy it is to make. That is not difficult, is it? But that second piece of the mechanism, you can have it as long or as wide as you like. It just depends on how large the aperture cutout is. But I just think that's really nice. It's such a nice, easy card to do. And like I say, you can stamp in there. You can leave it blank, and the card stands up like that. Or you can leave it open like that to kind of show it off a little bit. But that's it. Very easy. Fits into an envelope nicely, and when somebody opens the card they get a nice little surprise, because that pop-up just slides out like that, and I just think it looks really nice. So there we go. How easy. I'll just bring in the other ones again. Like I say, that was my first attempt. Not brilliant, but just to make sure that everything was working all right, because some of these cards that I've seen, they've made the mechanisms unnecessarily complicated, and there's no need for it. This is the easiest way I could find to do it. And there was this one with the same kind of stamping on there, and I just put a little bit of ribbon on there just for a bit of decoration. And this one is, as I said, my favourite. I just put a few decorations on, a raised up sentiment on the outside, just really nice. So I'd be interested to know which is your favourite. Next time I do this I will use thicker card, because this is sort of starting to bend, as you can see. It's a nice easy fun fold. It looks complicated, it looks like you've done something amazing. Well, you really have. I mean, you have. All card making to me is amazing. I'm always fascinated watching other videos of people making cards, but this makes it look as though you've put loads of time and effort into it, and you haven't really, because it's just so easy to do. There's that mechanism once again. Very, very simple. So that is a lot better than that, in my opinion. I don't know what you think about that. But thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you for anyone who watches my videos, who takes the time to comment, subscribe, share. Anything like that is just always so welcome and so very helpful. Thank you to all of my subscribers, because I am now galloping towards 3,000 subscribers, which is an absolute miracle in my mind. Thank you all for that. I will be having another giveaway when I get to 3,000 subscribers. So thank you so much for everybody who interacts with any of my videos. It really appreciated. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you and bye bye.